Hello, this is Crypto Neptune, and in today's video, we're going to talk about some news that could potentially be big for Telcoin. So we're going to talk about it in this video. Remember, nothing I say is financial advice, only use risk capital, and thank you to those who continue to support the channel. But before we dive into the meat and potatoes of the video, we want to look at where we're sitting with Telcoin's price. So we're currently sitting at 0.00378 and some change, and we're down 3.81% over the last 24 hours. We are sitting at a $347 million market cap. And at one point over the last 6 months, I believe we had got to $1 billion market cap. We had a pullback. But could we potentially get back to that $1 billion market cap? I believe we can. It's just a matter of the perfect storm. And that's kind of segue into what we're going to talk about here shortly. But 1.3 million in trading volume, obviously to kind of get the attention and eyes of crypto on Telcoin, that volume is going to have to pick up in a major way. And Telcoin and the Telcoin Association are putting some steps in place that could impact this volume. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. And so pretty much the idea of the video is this could be big. So the first thing is marketing. There has been a big outcry for marketing. When marketing, what can we do to get more eyes on to Telcoin? One of the things we can do to get more eyes on the Telcoin is what both me and both what the Tel fam has been doing over the years is simply by word of mouth, just telling people about Telcoin and the utility that's set to put the add a utility to the market. So that's definitely something we could talk about. What Telcoin has in store and what they plan to achieve. So word of mouth, getting the word out there, and networking. Now, Parker attended an event in New York City. So he's out there networking, getting the word out. And we're going to listen to kind of like a short clip of what he's seeing in New York City as far as him out there grinding and essentially just networking. So let's listen in.
Have been really splendid, and I highly recommend people going. I had the opportunity in coming up here to schedule meetings with a variety of potential DeFi protocols and partners across the stack of the platform for that are very eager to work with us, both in terms of building on top of Telcoin network, facilitating all sorts of cool things for various wallet services that will be built by the various different actors across application development on the platform, and a ton of just drumming up interest from the people that are on the ground building everything. And I think it's become in vogue now what we set out to do, which in the past this concept of having a consortium chain would be sort of looked upon as something that doesn't have censorship resistance and all that, and so it's not in line with like Bitcoin or whatever. But are both technologically, economically, and across the entire crypto ecosystem, people are starting to realize how important and how big of an opportunity it is to unleash and really align a blockchain network around telecoms. And so all sorts of different folks across layer ones, layer twos, across exchanges and on-chain apps and protocols and tooling are all really excited about us. And it's
Yeah, so that's a great point by Parker. So he's in New York. He has set up several meetings to talk to people about Telcoin. They have definitely gained a lot of interest from app developers, exchanges, you name it, telecoms. They've drummed up a lot of interest of people that want to be a part of Telcoin and the Telcoin network. And it's one of those things where you think, okay, they're going to these networking events and they don't amount to something. But what's happening is you're building up a list of potential clients. So I imagine Telcoin has like a list of folks that have reached out to them, folks that they've networked with, a list of contact information to which they can say, hey, we have flipped the switch on the Telcoin network. Come join us. We can give you access to blockchain technology. We can give you access to remittances. We can give you access to digital cash. You name it. We can give you access to crypto. So we're going to be able to provide those services for you. So props to Parker and Telcoin leadership as they have been grinding and going to different networking events. We've seen Paul Nooner out. We've seen Rajesh out. We've seen Patrick out. The list goes on and on. JT is not just one person that's associated with Telcoin. There's several people in Telcoin leadership that are just brick by brick kind of building this out. And kind of the next thing is marketing. So marketing has been kind of a big thing. And let's see if we go to kind of this point here, they'll start briefly talking about the marketing aspect of how things are going to happen and what that marketing is going to do. So we are going to play a quick clip.
So far, Storm Partners has won unanimous support for the Platform Council snapshot. The Treasury Council snapshot also looks to be unanimous at this time. There's a little bit of time left on that. But yeah, the Treasury Council has a chance to vote for their preferred candidates in case there was someone who had a dissenting opinion. The current snapshot, though, does appear to be unanimous. And pending the Compliant Council's silent approval, the TAO will move forward to setting up the services agreement with Storm Partners as early as next week. So I think that, yeah, it's a storm brewing. That's a good one. Yeah, we're really, really excited to be at this stage and really excited to work with Storm Partners on this next step. So we will have more updates for you next Platform Treasury Council meeting, and hopefully they'll be able to join us then. We'll hit the ground running.
Grant, a couple of people have asked me, do they start work immediately after they sign the agreement?
Yes, absolutely. So there's nothing else holding them back.
Yeah, so there you have it. Essentially, Storm will be the potential partner. So Storm will be the marketing firm that they're working with. They just got to have them sign some legal paperwork and it'll be off to the races. So potentially within the next couple of weeks, we could potentially start seeing more and more Telcoin content being put out there, marketing content, and just spreading the word. Once we do that, then that's when we could potentially have like some more consistent volume. The more people that know about Telcoin, the more volume. Once you have that volume, then that's when you can kind of pick and choose like what exchanges you want, because exchanges is a business. They want to be involved with projects that have consistent, strong volume. They don't care what it is, whether it's a utility coin, whether it's a gaming coin, whether it's real world assets, whether it's a meme coin. They want consistent, strong volume. So by adding these steps here, this could help Telcoin, and this could potentially big because we're marketing and adding more users onto the network. And then the next step would be app developers. There's going to be a strong push for app developers to stake and earn. So they're going to be staking, they're going to be earning. Their subscribers, they're going to be telling them, hey, you need to come on to our app platform. The more people that they refer, the more people, the more they earn, the more they trade, the more they earn, and they also get a percentage of the telex fees, the Telcoin gas fees as well. So it'll be app developers will be highly incentivized to use Telcoin and the Telcoin network. So that's another way where we're going to be able to pick up volume And we've already heard about some of the partnerships, but we have not heard about the full scope of partnerships. So let's keep this in mind here. So that's going to be big. And then remittances. Remittances, like we've talked about before, is a huge market. So imagine digital cash going from US to different countries. This digital cash has the potential to be massive. And if you can ramp remittances, if Telcoin can figure out a way to ramp up remittances at full scale, again, this is a $738 billion industry. Ramp that up at full scale, get a market share of that. That's going to put more buy pressure on the gas token. Remember, Telcoin is the gas token that pumps all this. So if we're constantly moving tail and it's constantly transacting, the value of Telcoin is going to continue to increase. So we have to keep that in mind as well. And we should hear some more news here about digital cash rolling out here soon. I would maybe July, potentially August, but from July to the end of the year, we should have like a lot of big news for Telcoin. And then lastly, past experience. Paul Nooner has done this before. He has, in his past, he has built a company from nothing. This was a totally separate company that Paul Nooner was involved in, but he was able to build that company from something to nothing. So if you have somebody that is a forward thinker and has done something like this successful in the past and has built something from nothing, you have that type of leadership in place. Sky's the limit for Telcoin. So we can't forget about that. Paul has already been a CEO of another company. He's already created a company before out of thin air and made it successful. And I believe it was acquired. That company was acquired, but through an acquisition. So my feeling is why Telcoin could be big is potentially also you got to think about more and more institutional investors are going to be coming in and they're going to want to look for utility. That's my thought. Like a lot of these institutional people coming from the stock market and all those guys like that, they're going to be looking for like utility projects. And what better way to link up to Telcoin and Telcoin Bank within that infrastructure and invest heavily in something that has the potential to kind of change things with the Telcoin Bank and the having the telecom aspect of it. So I hope you gain some value from this video, as this could be big for Telcoin as we continue on to the back half of this year. I want to thank you for listening and thanks for stopping by.